Hey, Kristen Levanway here in Phoenix. I read an interesting article this morning in the Wall Street Journal on strategic defaults. And what this is when you've got a homeowner who's underwater on their home. In other words, they owe a lot more on the home than what it's worth in the market. They can afford to stay in the home, they can afford to make that mortgage payment, but they're making the decision to walk away, let the house go into foreclosure, and then they're just renting. And it works because they can rent for a significant discount compared to their mortgage payment. Investors are buying up these properties at the distressed values and then renting back to these homeowners, and the rents are a lot lower than what the mortgage payments were if you bought your house back in the peak. So it raises a couple of interesting points. I mean, on the one hand, even though the feds are putting all these programs out to try and reduce foreclosures, and arguably the programs are not really working as well as everybody would hope, but these homeowners are making these decisions to lose the house and adding to the bad assets on the balance sheets for the banks. Ultimately, this is going to mean more taxpayer dollars are going to be required to bail out the banks, or more banks will go under, or whatever the conclusion is. It's not a good situation for the banking industry by any means to have more foreclosures. But on the plus side, analysts are saying this is like a stimulus package. They estimate that up to $5 billion a month is going back into the economy. $5 billion a month is what the homeowners are saving by renting versus owning their home. And they're spending that money on the things they couldn't afford to spend it on when they were making the mortgage payment. They're buying cars, they're going on vacations, they're buying furniture, they're putting that money back into the economy. So is it a good news or bad news? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. The stigma of a foreclosure is really, it's a lot lower now than it used to be. I mean, everybody is losing their houses to foreclosure, so it's almost like it's no big deal. And the dream of home ownership is kind of losing its shine. People are saying, well, I don't want to be underwater for the next however many years it's going to take to make up that negative equity. I don't want to have this gigantic mortgage payment. They don't want those hassles when they can just rent and their life is a lot simpler. So it's kind of an interesting situation, but it really brings up a moral question. Is this the right thing to do? It's one thing if you lose your home to foreclosure because you can't afford to make the payment. You really don't have a choice then. But these folks do have a choice. They can't afford to stay there, but just looking at their own financial situation, they've decided it's better to walk away, despite the fact that they're putting now that burden onto the taxpayers. They're making us all pay for that decision. Is that the right thing to do? They agree to make this mortgage payment, and just because it's not working for them, they've decided to walk away. It's an interesting question, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it. Shoot me an email at kristen@hereinphoenix.com, or send me a comment in the blog post below. Love to hear your thoughts. Make it a great day.